This afternoon. The rain chance a lot lower, but a high around 70. That's better. 52 tonight, and then rainy on Thursday with a high of only 58. I'm KY3 First Alert meteorologist Brandon Beck for 92.3 KICK. Weather on KICK brought to you by
Missouri Playsets, online at MissouriPlaysets.com, and soon our new location on South Scenic in Springfield.
The views expressed on this show are those of the host, guests, and callers, and not those of radio station KICK, Vision Communications Incorporated, its management, or advertisers. Vision Communications Incorporated is not responsible for the validity or accuracy of information presented on this program. Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Norman Shealy and Dr. Sergey Leo Shealy-Sorin. Get the health answers you need from the creator of holistic medicine and the 2020 Holistic Doctor of the Year. To be a part of today's show, call 417-447-1777. Wellness Wednesday. Now, here are your hosts, Dr. Norman Shealy and Dr. Sergey Leo Shealy-Sorin.
And good afternoon.
Hello. Dr. Shealy and myself would like to, the music is on. Okay. 3, 2, 1. All right. Perfect. We are on. This is a special show. It's a special presentation on one of the more important aspects that most people have no idea about. And it's essential for everything. And that's peace of the mind and stillness. There are 3 key secrets that we'll be revealing through the show in the first part of the show. And then in the second part of the show, we're going to be we'll be taking questions and everything else that comes to mind, from anything medical to anything spiritual. But this really goes to a very deep and essential level of humanity: stillness, being able to stay still, and mindfulness. Now, there's a lot we can say about it, but I'd like to get started by introduction. Dr. Shealy, you've been working with mindfulness now for a long time.
Well, in 1972, I learned about autogenic training and biofeedback. And I started doing it with my patients who had failed conventional everything. And all of a sudden, it was so important that I went back and spent 3 years getting a PhD in psychology so I could understand it. And, of course, it created biogenics. Now 68 different varieties of exercise, but the basic is autogenic training. My arms and legs are. And everything is creating peace, detachment from stress. The most important thing I ever learned in my life, important in all the courses I took in graduate and undergraduate school, more important than I had learned in neurosurgery. In today's world, the stress for the last 2+ years has multiplied manyfold. And I detach. I don't care what crud comes out of the news. I detach because I can't change it.
Absolutely. I actually had an epiphany, so to speak. I did want to ask, is the sound coming through to the listeners pretty good, or if there's a little background static? Because that's what I might be hearing. And if we can fix that, maybe that'll be good. But if maybe that's just my headphones, perhaps. I hope that's just that. I was out, and I work emergency room. It's every other weekend, and it's 24 hours on a Friday, 24 hours on a Sunday. In between, I have a day off, and historically, and this is my routine, is I go to a park in the nearby area. It's called elephant stone. Well, it looks like elephant stones, huge stones, granite, basically. Beautiful park, amazing. Brains are wonderful when they work, by the way. The interesting thing is, it just literally struck me about being in the nature, being in the stillness, just letting go of everything. And then we got hit by the rain there. I got hit by the rain. It was raining. It was beautiful. It was just in the moment. It was an amazing, beautiful moment of clarity, opportunity, and just being present, being there, realizing the simple truth, stillness of the mind. It really is everything. No anxiety, no stress. It's the key to pain management. It's the key to chronic pain. It's the key to chronic illness. It's the key to everything, all the dis-ease, lack of ease that humans have. But how do you get to that place where you get into that stillness of the mind, and how do you achieve that practically? And this is what this is about. We're going to give you tools, and we're going to give away the secrets, so to speak, which are not going to be secrets any much longer, about how you can achieve that. So now, Dr. Shealy, you already started talking about autogenic training and biogenics, and the idea and the concept there. And please feel free to jump in when you have something that you want to contribute, of course. But I want to say specifically from my end is it's the concept of self-regulation. And the example that I typically use is when I first started learning to drive. I was 16 years old. I was a terrible driver. I'm still not a good driver multiple years later, up until recently. Learned some bad habits, but I had to basically be careful. Where's my hands? Where's my feet? Where's my everything? In other words, where's what's happening on the road? Now, at this point, most of us should be pretty good drivers. It's an automatic response. In other words, we just subconsciously handle the situation and get from point A to point B. Same way, most people handle most of their lives in the subconscious pattern of stress, anxiety, dis-ease, and a bunch of problems that are not necessary. And please, feel free to jump in. I know you got something to say.
Well, in my opinion, once an adult settles in what they're going to do, the next most important thing is self-control, not allowing yourself to be overtaken by junk. And that's whether it's food or thought, is junk.
And actually, the other part of this is, well, let's get to secret number 2, and then we'll come around. By the way, Robin, and do we have a clock here just so we can keep an eye on things where we are? Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right, because we got only a certain amount of time that we can talk, and then we'll get to the questions. Second secret to capacity to clearing the mind is a gamma brainwave state. And it's defined as a 40 cycles per second, or hertz. And I actually have a secret that I'm holding the secret to that right here with the founder, specifically, Dr. Norm Shealy. And so this device, the PEMF, we've been talking a lot about this at 40 cycles per second, or hertz, with the ring on the head, literally is helpful with anxiety, stress, depression, brain function optimization. Actually, there's been a number of tremendous stories and resources, including patients with Parkinson's disease that have literally got up and were able to walk. There's many stories and successes on this. Bottom line is there's more than one way to reset how we rewire the neural networks. Now, this is a device. It's a wonderful device, and it works, especially in the setting number 2, gamma mode. But again, the first and foremost thing above any devices is our desire to do so, our intention and our wanting to get to the certain result in a certain place. Without that intention, it's hard to do so. But if you do want to get help, this is a wonderful device. Do you want to talk a little bit about this?
Well, in my opinion, it's better than all the psychologists, all the psychiatrists, and all the mood drugs in the world. Nothing works as well for reducing anxiety, for reducing depression, and ultimately function of the brain and body.
And actually, I'm enjoying the device right now as it is. It's not, the headphones is not the best place to keep it over, but usually over a baseball cap. But if you can balance it, that's great. So there's a couple of modes. This is a second mode, which is a gamma mode. And then there's a third mode, which is a delta mode, which is sleep relaxation. The mode that we're talking about for optimizing the brain, putting the brain into this optimal state, is the gamma mode. Now, you can get there through meditation. Some people spend decades sitting in caves and monasteries, and they do a fantastic job. There's absolutely a beautiful thing about doing the work. But how do you get started if you have no idea how to clear your head or what a clear head even feels like? How many patients in the practice that over 6 decades, excuse me, have you seen that have come to you completely at peace, completely clear?
None.
Right.
People don't ordinarily seek help until they're out of balance. And once they're out of balance, it's difficult to convince them to take care of themselves. In everything, in what they think, what they do, what they eat, everything they do. Every thought is a prayer. Every thought is a prayer. Thinking sets in motion spiritual forces to bring about change in body, mind, function, everything.
The entire life. Secret number 2. When you work with biogenics or PEMF or perhaps a combination of the above, and a number of other options are of course available. Whatever works is fantastic. The proof is in the pudding, obviously, and does something well for you, great, stay with it. If you haven't done it, give it a go. The other thing about it, the second secret, which is not so much a secret, but I'll just say it anyway, is that the brain has something called neuroplasticity. So for anyone who says that they cannot or is hard to change, the simple fact of a matter is, and please feel free to jump in on this, because lifestyle and habits is the essentials of what we teach. And it takes 2 to 3 months to develop a habit and almost a year to get to a lifestyle. Once you have that, you got it. Go ahead, please.
In fact, 3 of my earliest papers in 1961-3 were on plasticity of the nervous system, the ability to change, to function. And it's more true today than it was even then.
Last but not least, I want to talk about a third essential secret, which is not so much a secret again, intuition. The fact of knowing, in other words, following your gut, trusting your decisions, trusting what the voice in your head. And this is actually very important because in our day and age, and I'll go as far as I can go here without going overboard, I should say, is, I'm going to phrase this carefully. There's a lot of disinformation coming from all sorts of sources, a lot of the mainstream and so on and so forth. What to trust, what not to trust, whom to believe, where is the truth? Well, the truth is an interesting term in itself. And what is your truth? What is my truth? What is Dr. Shealy's truth? Ultimately, you have to get to the place that you are in the place that you're comfortable and trust yourself, whatever the sources that you're getting it from, but specifically, hopefully within yourself. But the only way to achieve that is to clear the vessel. We actually have a course that we teach on intuition, and there's a medical intuition and there's a personal intuition. There's a course in our selection that literally gives people the steps to increase and get to the place so they can trust their own gut. Some of the best and most amazing people in their professions, and I had friends, and I work with the SWAT teams, in other words, special police forces, and otherwise, people who excel at what they do. It doesn't have to be military; it can be in any field. They have something in common. They follow their gut. When I'm in the emergency room, I have done, well, I shouldn't say I saved many lives. I don't save anybody's life. I mean, I'm just a channel. I'm just literally a vessel. But I've literally followed my gut, my intuition, on things that didn't make much medical sense based on protocols and based on guidelines. And that it's a good thing that I did that a number of occasions, multiple occasions. So the gut, following the gut is the key, and learning how to clear your vessel and to be able to trust your gut, you first of all have to have a clean vessel. And that requires clean lifestyle. We always talk about that. Activity, nutrition, movement, sleep, rest, stress management. We talked about that. Weight. And if we have a little more time, we'll jump into it because that's one of the essentials and basics. You've got to really clean up the vessel. The cleaning up the vessel means cleaning up this right here, the control center, the mind, the brain, biogenics, autogenic training, whatever it takes to reset, retrain those things that don't work. This literally is the control center. What goes here goes in your life.
And fear. Fear is a concern for any function in your life. And the national media is a feeder of fear. And personally, I heard to watch television in 5 years and plan on never turning it on again in my life. And I don't listen to radio in my show, even in my car. I find nothing useful in most of the information available. And I don't play worry wart, broken records about how bad it is.
Now, Dr. Shealy, I'd like to have a little back and forth with you on a couple of things. I came across the number, and I hope I remember this number correctly. This came from the yogic sciences, in other words, about on the brain, on the mind, and something about 10,000 of thoughts or impulses going on in the brain, going on for every one action or thought that comes up. Is that correct?
Well, I think so. Obviously, in the gut itself, there are more cells than in the body itself.
And where this goes is this: how clear is your head? How clear is your mind? This is the topic of today's show. Is if you're clear, if you're still, if you're in the zone, that's where when you find Olympic athletes. That's when you find people who are the very best. That's when you really truly are in the zone. And if you know what it's like to be in the zone, that's what I'm talking about. If you've never been in the zone, or if you haven't been there for a long time, you know what's going on. There's fear, there's hesitancy, there's hundreds of monkeys all around. And what happens is a lot of those things is broken records being played over and over and over again. And the question is it serving any useful purpose?
And the latest one is monkey pod.
So
the crap of today.
So, and this is why we're talking about all this. That's why we were talking about all the solutions. We're talking about all this answers. There is hope. There is an answer. There's an alternative out there, but you have to be proactive and say, I want this. If you don't say that, if you don't want it, then obviously it doesn't matter. You can literally lead the horse to water, can't make it drink. So how do you help somebody who doesn't believe in themselves? Well, I'm hoping that by saying this, by this message, by our radio show, by our broadcast, holism, spirit, soul, mind, body, that everyone out there is aware that you're holy, you're amazing, you're sacred. Spirit, soul, mind, control center. Get a control of that. It's yours. Responsibility, ability to respond.
And I call it detach from those things you do not want to waste your time on. And 99% of the things that worry people are not worth the time of day.
Absolutely. I just had a very concerned parent who basically is losing sleep and life over some of his daughter's family's decisions in life, and certainly I can see how that would be. But when we sat together and we wrote down the list of things that he could control realistically and he could not control, all of his worries and energy and time went into things he could not control. That is when you detach. That is when you let go, because that's literally you're wasting energy and you don't have luxury of that. How do you utilize the energy properly? Focus on the things that you can do. Focus on the things that you care about and that are under your control. This is resetting, retraining, and then this is where all these tools come in. The pulsed electromagnetic field devices, the training, the biogenics, the autogenic training. There's supplements. There's things that literally help the brain stabilize.
And it takes only 18 minutes twice a day for 3 months.
For autogenic training, to train. Yeah.
And you can't learn any language that quickly.
Absolutely. And the key there is you want to train yourself. It's like learning a skill. You don't just do it once and forget about it, hoping it comes back. You train. I do want to say, as we're getting closer to the break and we still have a little time, is there is a Memorial Day sale beginning today, 15% on all of our wellness products, which means 15% off PEMF, 15% off Bliss Oils, 15% off Youth Formula and Essentials. And the code is...
And magnesium lotion.
And magnesium lotion and everything else. And the code is M as in Mary, D as in David, 22, MD22. And we are running into a little bit of shortage. We're starting to run into shortage in supply and demand chains. It's hitting everything and everybody. So if you're interested, and again, not a rush, but I would advise to stock up. I certainly have myself, not just on this, but just on whatever is important. It would be wise. Now, we still have a couple of minutes, and so let's continue, please.
Well, something we talked about on the way to the clinic this morning, preparation for the shortages in food.
Yes.
Very important. For 50 years, I have concentrated on freezing, flash driving, and canning for food. It's almost no work at all to can a whole bunch of food. And it lasts for years when it's canned. And the freezer can go out if it goes out. But the jars that have been packed and sealed last at least 5 years.
And that is another crucial skill to learn and to understand how to get in touch and utilize the nature, how to utilize nature's resources, plants, trees, fruits, when, what, how to do simple basic things without, if you happen to be off the grid, and that's important. And by the way, I am so grateful because we actually tilled the garden and we've planted the garden. This is the first time I'm doing that officially, and I'm really excited to learn. But also, just learning about all the nature's miracles outside, all the healing plants that are growing in our backyard, such as the amazing dandelion. It's a medicinal plant.
And if you have a lawn, you can have a garden with less work for taking care of the garden than mowing it every week.
And by the way, I notice when I go out into nature, and so this comes around full circle, and I always do this. Whenever I need to clear my head, I go into nature. I just know myself. So when I'm in the garden, when I'm near plants, when I'm just in the backyard, just outside, I literally, I clear my head. It just becomes, I get into that place where I am at peace. I am one with everything, and it's just a beautiful, relaxing time. And actually, gardening is one of the best activities in the world to calm the anxious mind.
Well, it puts you at peace.
Oh yes,
there's no stress in gardening.
And I just want to say briefly, because we are getting close, is other benefits of mindfulness: increased concentration, creativity, lower stress, lower anxiety, easier to relax. Positive thoughts, positive energy, positive emotions, and increased problem solving. In other words, you get to live your best life. If that's not enough, I don't know what is.
Every thought is a prayer. Thinking sets in motion spiritual forces to bring about change in body, mind, companions, hopes. It's there. Everything is a result of planning, programming your mind.
And you are the one who has the power and responsibility to do so. And it's great.
And I can't do it for anybody but myself.
But we can help people and we can teach people how they can take charge of their own life, including resources, tools.
And it pays dividends forever for the rest of your life once you learn and practice autogenic training for 3 months. I don't know anything more important.
And we are on a break. By the way, for anyone who hasn't figured out that there's a lot of stuff going on in the breaks and after the show, please join us.
And any questions? No questions yet.
Comments, thoughts? No? All right.
Okay, think. Thinking sets in motion spiritual forces. Now, it sets in motion destructive things if you think negatively. But autogenic training is all positive, and the benefits are all positive for your body, your mind, your spirit, yourself.
Absolutely. It's easy, very simple things. The trouble is, this takes a really reframing of the culture and society that we live in. And we're not here; we're doctors technically, but being a physician, being a doctor, is looking holistically at the entire human. You have to take into account environment. You have to take into the factors, stress. You have to address the family situations, relationships.
And remember, the Memorial Day sale starts today, 15% off our products. The Bliss Oils, the PMF, the Youth Formula, the Essentials, and the Magnesium Lotion.
Yep. And the code is MD22.
Give your website.
What's
You want
what?
to give your website?
Okay. The website, of course. It's realholisticdoc.com. REALHOLISTICDOC.com. And by the way, I do want to say that for anyone who is supporting us and supporting Dr. Shealy's legacy and what he has started and what we're carrying on strongly, and we're going to continue carrying on strongly, we sure do appreciate you. There's been people who have followed Norm for decades. There have been new followers, new people who have come into our lives. And the message and the concept that we have to bring forth is very simple. Holism, spirit, soul, mind, body. Bringing back the power, bringing back the holy, and reconnecting the entire human into a functional, amazing, powerful unit that is more capable than what we ever even consider ourselves capable of. We have been trained and programmed into submission so that we serve other people's and other interests, so to speak, without realizing our own true power. And this is what this movement is all about. It's about liberation. It's about freedom. It's about personal optimization in whatever way you can think of. Whatever it is that you are individually who you are, how you are, make the best of yourself.
Mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually.
Yes.
A complete person. And thinking is what sets in motion the optimal function of everything in the body.
Yes. Now, question for the folks out there, and please do consider this a question. Write this down. When was the last time you were truly in control of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions? When I say that, when was the last time you were aware of the underlying storm or whatever else was going on in your head that was basically leading into whatever the outcome or the words or the actions? When was the last time that you remember that you were perfectly in control or aware of what you were saying and you were doing it because it was the right thing to do, or at least the right thing to do at the moment in the situation, but you were fully in charge of it? Or were you, perhaps on the other hand, reacting, a knee-jerk response, or saying or doing things that were not ultimately in your best interest? How many people are running patterns that are working, useful,
How many
wonderful?
days do you function optimally?
What percentage? Here's an even bigger question. What percentage of your life literally is optimized? And what percentage of it is subverted literally by, first of all, not realizing your true potential, who you are, who we are, but also cutting ourselves short, cutting our own wings?
And
Getting ready to come back in about 20 seconds.
In
Okay.
about 20 seconds. Okay, 20 seconds return, and then we'll come back to the radio.
And at the return, you can call and ask your question online, 417-447-1777.
19.
And the time has
brought to you by
come.
the National Association of Broadcasters and KICK.
Now back to Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Norman Shealy and Dr. Sergey Leo Shealy-Sorin.
And remember that in these troubled days with poison everywhere, you cannot get adequate basic vitamins from food. Once upon a time, you needed 1 or 2 milligrams of B complex. Now you need 25 milligrams. I mean, basically, it's stress is increased enough that you need multiple amounts of vitamin B complex and vitamin D3 and astaxanthin. And you, okay, you're on the air. Can you?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
You're on the air.
Is this the radio show?
This is the, yep, you're on the radio. Hi.
Hi. I had a question for the doctor.
Go ahead, please, dear.
I was just wondering if there was anything that can be done to improve eyesight, because I'm 51 and I have no problems with my eyes normally, and even when I get eye exams, but just for like reading, reading emails on my cell phone or reading a book.
Couple of things
that can be done about that.
Absolutely, just a few things off the top of my head. For the external health of the eye, there's the drops that you can put in, and that's basically castor oil, especially U as in USP. Grade, smaller bottle, 1 drop. That's if you have cataracts or otherwise, or something clouding the vision. But if you are just wanting to optimize the vision itself, a good form of vitamin A or astaxanthin, or basically, astaxanthin is ASTAXANTHIN. Did I do it right?
Yes.
Yes.
And
all right.
Remember, I come from 4 generations of cataracts. My great grandmother down. 2 years ago, I was told that I have early cataracts. I've dissolved them already by using USP, United States Pharmacopoeia, castor oil, 1 drop in each eye daily.
Well, that's
okay.
Yep. Thank you so much.
For me, it's just like I said, I have no problems with my eyes at all, except for just like reading. So, what is the best thing for that? Is that just the astaxanthin?
Yep, that's what we said. Yep.
Vitamin A.
Give it a go. Give us a call next radio show. Or actually, 1 week is not enough. About 4 weeks, and then let us know if that does anything.
And how much should I take?
20 milligrams.
Of those supplements. 20 milligrams of the vitamin A or the astaxanthin?
Yeah, I'll try to spell it again, but that long big word, ASTAX, astaxanthin. Yeah, 20 milligrams daily. Yep.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
You got it, dear. All right. And we have another caller.
You're on the air.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Doing
Wonderful.
Great. Yeah.
What can I help you with?
And we have another.
I would like to know more about the PEMF. I purchased one, and I'd like to know about the chakra setting and the brain setting, and how long to use each one.
Let's talk about PEMF and what the general or good indications for use are. There's 3 settings. Do you want to take that? Yeah.
Well, the more you use it, the better it is. I sleep with it all night under my pillow and on my chest. In the daytime, if I'm sitting, I use it all the time I'm sitting down. It's safe. The only contraindication is pregnancy or a pacemaker.
Now, there's setting number 1, which is the general sweep. That's good for everything, literally everything. If you have any aches, pains, if you just want to increase the cellular health, which is essential for cells and which is for humans. Second setting, and actually, if you're watching, let's actually turn off. And then let's turn on. I'm not sure if you can see the lights as clear as I can from the distance here in the camera. Setting number 1, this is the sweep, which is general all-around good stuff for everything, including gamma for the brain. But this is the ultimate gamma for the brain. This is the one that literally puts the brain into relaxation. That's it. And third setting, delta. Relax, sleep, nerve relaxation. If somebody's got sciatica, nerve plex inflammation, and that's that. And so 24/7, literally, 2 hours on the gamma. I wouldn't say minimum, but that's what we did research on. So it doesn't mean that it doesn't work less than 2 hours, or it works any better or worse at any given time. But the more, the better. Do you have any other thoughts or suggestions on top of that?
Yes, I'd like to know what kind of results you have had for people with vertigo.
Vertigo. Now, vertigo and the PEMF device. I think with vertigo, let's break it down into several categories. Is it spinning, or are you spinning, or is the room spinning?
I'm spinning. I'm very dizzy.
Dizzy, yeah, gotcha. And how long you've had that?
About a year, and I've been going to a chiropractor. It's been improving, but I still have it.
Gotcha. Have you been checked for a middle ear or?
Yes. Yes, I've been checked for everything.
And anything changed?
No, nothing's shown up, and nothing's changed except.
Nothing's okay. That's interesting. So vertigo, which hasn't responded to any conventional. I think it's worth a shot. Let's give it a go and let's see what happens. Yeah.
Okay, leave it on the brain setting for many hours a day as I can.
24/7. Yeah.
Okay, and can I know it's summertime now, but in the winter, can you use it when you have an electric blanket on your bed?
Yes. This is magnetic. Now. Yeah, I don't see any problem with that. The only contraindication that I think of is, I don't recommend anything in pregnancy, including conventional things. Right. Just because it's
right.
Right. It is what it is, and pacemaker or something that has a battery in the body that.
Got it. Have you used this with patients with ALS? My daughter-in-law has ALS.
I have had one patient in which we have been able to stop the progress and reverse it. ALS.
And where would you place it on the body for ALS?
Well, if you know where the lesion is in the spine, I'll place it over that area.
Okay, very good. And when I have this question from a friend, and she's got arthritic knees. You just slide the circle over your knees and leave it there.
Yes,
absolutely.
Whole leg.
Okay.
Orthopedic is one of the best recoveries. I've got a personal story on that with my own spine, where I got back to work in 4 weeks after pretty much a burst fracture and titanium in my spine. But I did some other things too. But there's so many orthopedic and just general recovery stories there. Give it a go. Let's see what happens.
Very good. Thank you so much, doctors. I appreciate it.
Thank you for calling.
Yep, we got another caller.
And you on the air.
Hello.
Yes, I just had a question. I was diagnosed with a heart, not enlarged heart, but I think heart failure is what they.
Congestive heart failure, CHF?
Yeah, and it's very mild. He's got me on Metropolo, very low dosage. But I was just wondering what I could take for supplements, and also I have the PIMP machine, I have the scalar device, I do autogenic training. So would all of that help?
Yes.
Absolutely. And what I love about that combination is autogenic training, biogenics, stress control is regulation, self awareness. That's all essential, and a big part of it. That's all lifestyle is hugely essential here. Supplements can be very helpful, and I think there's a huge list of that I can think of. We pick and choose, obviously, but both Dr. Shealy and myself are now seeing patients. So if you are interested in just talking about what specifically, which combinations, and how to utilize all of what you got, we'd be happy to do so.
I'm in Canada. Yeah, I could give you a call and we could discuss it. And it's very mild, he said, but I don't want to be on the drug. Like I'm on that drug.
Oh God, yeah. And when it's mild, this is the best chance to start to get ahead of it. So I fully agree with that. If you I'll give you a telephone number to the clinic: 417-351-5221.
Okay.
I know there's an 800 number there for as well, but we do video and we do a telephone consults, whichever is best. Now, Dr. Shealy is your schedule hasn't filled up yet, right? Has it? Where you got a few patients on.
Yes.
Mine is fortunately or unfortunately now kind of booked a bit into a few months from now. But if you want to give us a call, we'll. Get
I will. I definitely will.
Yeah.
And did you suggest the PIMP machine as well on the chest?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
PIMP is good for everything.
But then we also should be talking about a sapphire pouch. Sapphires.
Right.
I have that too.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Wear it all day.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a good start. It's a great start.
Okay, I'll do that.
Wonderful.
Okay, thank you so much for your help, and I'll give you a call.
Thank you.
Blessings.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye.
And don't forget, for many things you need supplements in Springfield. You should get them at Spring Valley Natural Foods. The shop where I go, and you should shop too because of the service. They help you find one thing out of 10,000. No other store does that for you. And they carry most of our goodies. My bliss oils, the magnesium lotion, all the goodies at Spring Valley. And, of course, the average American undereats vegetables and fruits. And the average person could put almost normal by adding nature-blessed tart cherry juice concentrate found only in the produce department in real grocery stores. 2 tablespoons a day would bring you up to 5.5 servings of fruits and vegetables.
And veggies are those things that are completely disregarded by our society to a large degree.
So take care of yourself, because I can't do it for you. I can make a recommendation, but I can't do it for you.
Yep, Robin. Okay, so we're clear for a few minutes. Okay, so let's continue talking because we actually covered a lot of good stuff here, and I just want to come on back right to this very topic because let's talk about the 3 secrets, which are not secrets anymore, behind and why this is important to have your mind, your brain quiet and still, why to be able to relax, to be able to become aware of the world around you, to become aware of the world within you. And then you can start to master yourself, and you can start to master your environment in the best way possible. And that is when you get to not just health outcomes, you can get to everything outcomes. Relationships, marriage, kids, work, business, everything.
And don't forget the Memorial Day sale, 15% off on all our wellness products.
Yep, and the code is MT22. So, Dr. Shealy, let's talk about some stories about life-changing, just life-changing on a spot. Okay, let me give you a small example, and if we have new callers, we'll take that. I just started seeing a young lady, young at heart, we're all young, and just, I'm not going to say the names, but it struck me as a typical patient that we would see. In other words, some amount of anxiety, depression, stress, stress-related type things, lifestyle, a lot of those things going on between nutrition, exercising, or rather not exercising, poor sleep, stress management, which wasn't non-existent literally, just in a terrible life situation that was stressful enough for 20 people. I can literally say that. So she's really doing a fantastic job pulling it all together, as she is. Blessings, But we started talking, and we gave the tools, we gave the autogenic training, we talked about biogenics, we talked about the supplements that were specifically for her that would help, and a lot of other great, amazing things. And autogenic training takes 3 months to learn and to memorize and to understand and to envision, to incorporate. I saw her the next month for coaching, for continuity, so that basically we're on the same page and to address any questions. Now, she didn't have everything in line, but I was looking at a completely brand new person. And I think you've had that experience already. It's the epiphany. And that's what it takes. It was the epiphany that she was okay. And now she was basically just unwinding, unopening all these things. And yes, it took steps. I'm still seeing her. We're still working through stuff. But it's not me who is fixing her. It's herself from inside out, clearing the vessel, opening up to the best that she can be. using the tools that we talked about: biogenics, autogenic training, PEMF, electromagnetic devices, supplements, things of that nature. You can talk about a lot of different things, but the final thing, the ultimate thing, is the power of you, and nobody can take it away from you or give it to you other than yourself. And that's the short of it.
And we haven't talked much of the show about the Rejuvenatrix.
Oh, yeah.
But I saw today, or talked with today, a young lady that you talked to yesterday. And I would love to have her use it because it can rejuvenate your body to telomeres. An hour a day on that regrows your telomeres, the tips of your DNA. And you can do the same thing with 3 of bliss oils, but nothing does it better than it rejuvenates you.
And I love the idea of the mattress. I have the mattress, actually, as a matter of fact. It's not our most common item that we talk about, but it's a wonderful item. And what it does is it decreases inflammation. It's electricity, electromagnetic, piezoelectric, so to speak. Does wonderful things, and it literally it's anti-aging with the same benefit actually as the 3 bliss oils: earth, fire, and crystal. So you can accomplish the same thing with those as well. But I guess there's many ways to get to the result. But you're right, we haven't talked about that.
And the natural body uses those frequencies, 52 to 78 billion cycles per second at a billionth of a watt.
In other words, gigahertz.
Right.
Yeah. And actually, well, if we have more time to talk about different things, there's a lot of wisdom, a lot of fascinating stories that we can share and talk about, including your experiences with all the way back to Ukraine and back when there was decades ago, I should say,
in the 90s.
In the 90s, right, and all the scientific discoveries and the frequencies and everything else. Now, Dr. Shealy, I'm just going to ask you a general question, unless we get a phone call or otherwise. How do you feel at this point, after all these decades of inventing and creating all these things? How do you feel about life?
I feel just as good as it did 60 years ago.
What do you consider your greatest accomplishment to date? Since I got the opportunity to actually talk to you about this,
I think autogenic training, biogenics, and the Gamma PIMF device, the greatest.
But you have, you literally have, I think, 18 patents, 370 publications, and over 37 books. I think we got a couple of those together.
40 books now.
40 books now. Okay, got you. Yeah. So of all of that, that's that you would focus on your attention. And if you were to recommend something to a person getting started.
Well, again, I would start always with autogenic training. Mm-hmm. Because it's the key to being at peace.
And the best way to do so, if you haven't heard of the system or you're not familiar how it works in a greater context, is biogenics. And that's available on the website. It's a course. It explains everything. It gives you 68 various exercises. It's under $100. I mean, so literally it's a no-brainer. And it can change your life, a person's life. But what I've been telling people, what I've been telling my patients, clients, anybody who is willing to listen, is this is your work, this is your results, this is your outcome. If you want it, you'll get it. If you don't follow through, well, it's as good as sitting on the shelf as it is not, literally. Responsibility. Do you want to achieve that state where you can control your mind, your brain, where you are in charge of your life, where your mind is perfectly quiet, perfectly still, and you are okay in whatever circumstances you are? When was the last time you felt that? If it was recent, God bless.
And you are at peace, no matter what's happening.
And along the same lines, along those concepts, also detachment, one of your favorite statements, by the way. Letting go of all the crap that doesn't help us, literally. I mean, I'll just put it that way. And
halitosis is better than no breath at all, but it's not good.
No. And if we can do better, we always do better. In NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, one of the most amazing things that I've taken a lot of trainings along the way. I've been a curious creature ever since I was young, especially after my colon cancer experience and figuring out that when somebody tells you you're dead in 2 years and you realize, okay, well, I guess everything else is a bonus. So I guess I'm just this is playtime, literally. Actually, just realized that this is all playtime every single day for all of us, and that's a big one. Don't forget to play. Don't forget to enjoy life. Are you at the end of the journey? How many moments are you going to remember that were wonderful, beautiful, amazing? That's what it's all about. Why are we working? What are we doing? Why are we doing all this? Think about it.
And again, thinking sets in motion spiritual forces to bring about positive change in every aspect of life. You are responsible for your thoughts, and they are responsible for your acts, and they are responsible for your health and everything else in your life.
Perfect. And just as a quick summary, if we have another minute or so, there is a code. So if you are interested in learning the system, if you're interested in supporting us, supporting the holistic movement, supporting what we stand for, supporting this man's lifetime work, which is continuing on strongly, we absolutely appreciate when we love your presence, your comments, you're being with us. And of course, anything you can do to help us be better, do better. And we're always available. There's the website, realholisticdoc.com. Lots of information, lots of blogs, lots of resources, lots of amazing, helpful products and services that are, holistic, and options that are generally not mentioned in the conventional. So the choice is yours.
And don't forget the Memorial Day sale. 15% off.
Yes. And MD22 is the code. And this is 15% off on everything, including PEMF, all the programs, all the services, everything. So, by the way, we don't often have this kind of sales. So, frankly speaking, I don't remember until, I shouldn't even say this on the radio, but I don't remember until when the sale lasts. So basically, please take advantage of this opportunity. But I'm sure Matt is and someone is going to put up, the amount of time. I'm just not a numbers person, so I do great in some things, not others. But we do our best in everything.
And you can do the same by practicing biogenics.
Yes.
Most critical thing you could learn in this life, and sustain you after this life.
Yep. Everything is energy, and energy is everything.
And until next week, y'all have a good one.
Absolutely. Shall we give a chance for any questions or comments? By the way, Robin, I'm going to ask you something. We have people from different places generally. Do we have what kind of community do we have coming saying hello?
Today we got hellos from San Diego. We got hellos from New York.
Oh,
so
coast to coast.
Coast to coast.
All right.
The entire country. We have one question online, a lady asking what you can do for AFib and kidney disease.
Ooh, that's a good
Well,
one.
at the top of my list for AFib is magnesium lotion. I would rub 2 teaspoons over the chest twice a day.
That'd be number one situation. Number two, I would also say working on the mental and emotional level on the stress factors.
Oh, gosh.
Because we always think of material and things or things that we can touch and feel, but the stress is something you can touch and feel, so to speak, really. It comes in all sorts of short forms and sizes and shapes, and its effects are absolutely deadly. So now there's other things here that we should talk about in a holistic perspective. If this was a consultation, I would absolutely address the lifestyle. What are the patterns that have led to the possibility of heart disease, and how do you reverse that? Also, what is your perspective on health and life? That's another big one. Do you, in other words, where do you see yourself going? Do you see yourself heading towards the healing path, or does a person only see themselves just being on the chronic refills? And I'll just say this: I don't mind helping people in whatever capacity that they need help. That's what this is for. I'm here to help no matter what, or if I can, of course. And some people really want to just get off the drugs, get off the medicine. That's what we do, become truly healthy and become independent of the healthcare system. And other people, and I've had several people say, I just need my refills and I just want to be able to come in for some IVs, intravenous boosts once in a while. Okay, great. That's not a problem. But just want you to know that while I will honor your request if you do that, this is not the optimum of what holistic medicine has to offer. The best of holistic medicine is not to be on any drugs, is not to be on anything.
And
but again,
we weed thousands of people off drugs.
Yeah, and I've actually supported people for several years on the refills until they had an event, a cardiac event or something, and I can think of several people. And then after that, it was like, okay, now I want to get off the drugs. Now I want to do something about my health. But that's okay. I'm ready. I'm ready whenever you are. But the bottom line is, what's your trigger, and what's gonna tell you and get you to think and to say, I'm gonna take action. I'm worth it. So usually it's a crisis. Does it have to be a crisis? No, that's a choice. Anything else? Final closing thoughts? I could go on for a while.
Think positively and practice autogenic and biogenics.
Wonderful. We'll see you later. Blessings. Take care.
Until next week, have a good one.